Hey everyone, welcome back to Go With the Flo. I'm Josiah, and today I'm joined by a very, very special guest. He has over 530,000 followers on Instagram and runs a YouTube channel called Valuetainment, which has 1.1 million subscribers, which is insane. And his name is Patrick Bet David. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for coming on the show, by the way.
Sure.
So basically, I did a lot or quite a bit of research on you before this. And obviously through Valuetainment, you talk a lot about just entrepreneurship type of stuff. And what I what I didn't really find a lot about was your childhood. And there was something I read about your childhood where you said, I guess it affected a lot of your perspective on entrepreneurship and life in general, I would say. So that's kind of where I want to go with it. And then also I want to learn a lot about your career path, about starting Valuetainment, and I guess the thought process behind that as well. So yeah, but basically you were saying that when you basically were a entrepreneur at around 10 years old. That's kind of when you started, correct?
10 years old. I was in Germany at a refugee camp. My parents had my dad just filed a divorce, and Super Nintendo was coming out with Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah.
And there was a guy local in my refugee camp I was living, a guy named Jan Staff, who had a drop-dead gorgeous sister that I wanted to spend time with.
Nice.
And so I figured out a way to go to a local swimming pool. And I told him, I said, all these Germans drink a lot of beer.
Yep.
I said, all these guys that are drinking beer at the pool, it's a mess. Who's cleaning this up? And the owner gave me 5 pfennig per beer bottle. I collected 5,000. The
Hey.
Super Mario Brothers was 249. I got the Nintendo. He played with the video games. I played with his sister. So it worked out very well.
So you did get the sister in the end.
Oh my God. 100%. Let me put it to you this way. We did not see each other. I'll give you a wild story.
Okay.
We did not see each other for 26 years. And we reunited. Thank you. We reunited at Madrid, and the whole thing was recorded. And that was the sister.
No way.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy story.
Holy. So
Right?
around that time then, did you know you were going to be an entrepreneur around 10 years old? I assume not, because you also went into the military right out of high school, I believe.
Yeah, not at all. So, here's how I see it. I'll give you a crazy way of looking at it.
Okay.
Think about if there's no major corporations today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are no corporations, nothing. There's no Fortune 500, Fortune 1000, nothing. The world is starting. We're starting a country, a community. You're waking up in the morning. You got a girl, you got 2 kids. What do you need to do today?
I mean,
Think about it. Like, what do you need? The key word is need, not want. What do you need today?
I would say just provide for the family.
So you need food,
Yeah.
and you need shelter,
Yeah.
right? And security.
Yeah.
Pretty basic things, right? Your
Yep.
your woman's gonna want security from you.
Yeah.
She's gonna expect you to take care of the kids. The kids need a good place to eat and stay healthy so they can live a long time.
Yeah.
If there is no Fortune 500 companies, how do you make money?
It's a good point.
So this is my point to you. The only reason people become employees is because it's an option now.
That's
By
very
our
true.
nature- By our nature, we all will figure out a way how to get paid and make food, how to get food for our kids and have shelter, because that instinct to fulfill our needs is in here,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
So now, the great thing about today in the world is we have alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
The alternatives are, maybe I do want to go get a job. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe I do want to go be an entrepreneur. Great. But we have to realize where everything came from.
I see what you're
So
saying.
for me, why did I become an entrepreneur? I became an entrepreneur because my mom was broke. My dad was broke. We've never had money. We're not middle America. We're poor.
Yeah.
We don't have anything. I'm getting apple juice being put on the corner of the street. We go pick it up and then we drink that apple juice because that's what they did at the refugee camp.
Yeah. No, that makes
So,
sense.
so why did I do that? I wanted that. Second time around, why did I do it? I wanted baseball cards. I was a kid selling hats because I wanted baseball. I never got an allowance in my life. There was no
Interesting.
such thing as an allowance.
Okay.
And then after that, it was, me wanting to get a car. And then it was me wanting to get my dad to stop working at a 99-cent store. But every time there was a reason for me wanting to do it. So the byproduct was, I don't have a degree. I don't come from a wealthy family. I don't have generational wealth. I have to figure out a way. The fastest way was being an entrepreneur.
I see. So there's nothing from your dad, even where like you didn't get anything from your dad about being an entrepreneur.
My dad
more
was
just
a cashier at a 99-cent store. My dad was a guy would make Nivea and Max Factor in Iran. He would make cream. So he understands, like my dad's a chemist.
Oh, okay.
He understands how to make makeup. So he's the guy that when he comes to the office or our sales offices, the women go crazy for him because he comes, he says, honey, this is the cream you want to put on your face. I mean, women love my day. 77 years old. He's going to be 77 here in April.
Oh, wow.
And women love him because of that. So he's a chemist.
So, and you guys grew up in Iran, correct?
Yes.
And you spent how many years there? 10 to 12 years?
10 years.
10 years?
10 years ago, I was born. I went there till 5th grade.
Okay. And then you moved to Germany.
6 weeks after, went to Germany, yes.
Okay. So what was the life in Iran then like? That's something like I haven't found much about. Is there anything that happened there that kind of altered your perspective, I guess, on life? Or
a lot. And it's interesting you ask that because not a lot of people ask that question. Iran is all memories of anxiety, angst, panic, fear, uncertainty, paranoia. Let me put it to you this way. You know how kids grow up and you play in the street with other kids or all that stuff? You just kind of do. I've never played in the streets of my life up until Germany.
Really?
They would kidnap kids and steal their pancreas and their stomach, and they would sell it in the secondary market. But this is not the most exciting thing to be talking about. Yeah, this is not the most exciting thing to be talking about to people on podcasts because people freak out. And so I've never played outside. Never in Iran. All our windows had tapes on it, like not X, imagine 2 X's, right?
Okay,
because when a bomb would come, the flash would make the window glass drop at the right where the windows are instead of coming out and hurting us. So all our tapes, like, you know how some people use windows as nice, we didn't have nice windows because you just put tapes all over the place. In Iran, I would see, just some crazy stuff. People don't want to hear this stuff. I would see 10,000 men marching on the streets, flagellating their back. And I don't know if you know what flagellating.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Of course. Yep.
Speak of blood and they're screaming death upon America. I mean, that's where I grew up in 10 years.
So then, so Iran's it's a Muslim country, correct? Like, So is that something that you guys, I won't say participated in, but like, was your family a Muslim family at all? Like, is that?
Oh, no, we're Christian. We're non-denominational Christians. Yeah.
So living in Iran, that'd be really.
I used to go to churches. I used to go to Sunday school. And we lived in a country that it was a pretty bad time because that's when Khomeini just took over Iran. And he was not a fan of Baha'i, which is a denomination of Muslim. He was not a fan of Christians. He was not a fan of any of that stuff. So we had to be very careful. And let me tell you, I won't get into some of the dark stuff because people don't want to hear it. People don't want to hear it. They don't even show the dark stuff in movies. It's so ugly, some of the stuff you saw. So, when people tell me they have it tough, I have a very hard time hearing people's excuses. Very hard time.
So then a lot of that stuff, obviously, I'm assuming because Iran is a regime now, like that I'm guessing push you towards, I guess, capitalism and the free market and just being free in general, I guess. Would that be correct?
I think you put it perfectly well. I mean, it's the fact I just wanted to be free. Just leave me alone. Yeah. If I commit a crime, put me in prison. If I do something wrong, fine me. If I break the law, fine. But give me the freedom to decide for myself rather than, having to be scrutinized for every single decision I make. I think people in America forget a lot of times all the different freedoms that we have. Think about it. When we first came to America, I'll tell you a funny story.
Okay.
We came to America, we're watching the news. And the news commentator starts talking bad things about the president. And my mom says, poor man, they're going to kill him tomorrow. I said, Mom, you're in America. they're not killing this man tomorrow.
Unreal.
But the point is, you don't do that in Iran. Like, you don't get on TV and talk smack about the president. What are you talking about? But it's a business in America. Comedians explode by presidents. How many presidents do you know who, look at Will Ferrell and his career, you know? I'm in Crawford, Texas. I'm here with Connie and Dick, and we're throwing Frisbees and grow my soul patch, you know, and he's doing his joke about George, or how many people impersonate Trump nowadays? Kimmel, Fallon.
So true.
You know, I mean, you think about Saturday Night Live, or the one guy that would impersonate Obama, and it's just a business. So we have freedom of speech. You can talk smack about anybody you want in America. Freedom of assembly. You and I can get together in a room of 1,000, 10,000 people and say, we disagree with the president. It's okay in America. So you can't do that over. So freedom of assembly, freedom of enterprise, freedom of religion. You can be a Christian, Muslim, atheist, agnostic. It doesn't matter. No problem. Go at it.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing is when you allow people to be free to make the right choices or the bad choices. If they make bad choices, they get punished. If they don't, let them be. They typically end up doing the right things for themselves.
True. Now, just quickly, want to go back to one thing you said. We don't have to go into depth with it, but so you're Christians in Iran, correct?
Yes.
So were you going to church in Iran, or was that when you went to? Oh, really? It was in Iran.
I mean, we went to church. I got kicked out of Sunday school because I questioned God all the time. My Sunday school teacher would call my mom and dad and say, there's something wrong with your kid. I was 6 years old. They said, what's wrong with our kid? He says, every single Sunday, he asks the same question. If God loves people, why did we get bombed last week? And ma'am, sir, son needs to stop asking this question because we don't know how to explain faith to him. So that's why I was an atheist 25 years of my life. It was very hard to believe in God.
So even at a young age, you were trying to, like, you're pretty much thinking for yourself at that point.
I had a hard time believing in God.
Interesting.
I had a very hard time believing in God because it didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me. A lot of it was, it didn't make any sense to me. First of all, so on one end, you tell me that everything I do in my life, you've written, but I have the free will. That's contradictory. I mean, I would ask the most technical questions.
Yep. I'm the same way. Yep, I get it. Yep.
So, you know, when people ask me, they say, you're a Christian. I say, I'm a very complicated Christian. But it's also hard to dispute that there is a God. I mean, how do you dispute that? It's very tough to dispute the existence of a higher power. And so, listen, no one debates me better than me debating myself. I mean, the debates that go on in this brain, if this was live, people would think I'm crazy because of the debates I have with myself all the time. But yeah, we were Christians at that time, going to church every Sunday.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's something I was really curious about, just kind of like your childhood. But now, once you moved over to Germany, you went to high school in Germany, correct? Or was that in the US you went to high school?
I went to high school here.
Okay.
I went sixth grade in Germany, and then I went seventh grade, and then seventh on, I'm here. So I went high school in Glendale, California.
So what were you like in high school? What type of kid were you?
You know, I ask that question all the time, and you're asking me the question now. So let me put it to you this way. I was probably multiple personalities. So let me explain what I mean by multiple personalities. I lived with a mother who was different every day. My mother probably went, and I'm not exaggerating, she probably went 6 years. Every day she cried. When I tell you every day, I'm not being sarcastic. My sister will vouch for this. She cried every day. My sister eventually left. I said, I'm not leaving my mom until she leaves me.
Holy.
So my mom, I said, I'm not leaving her. You're going to leave me first. I said, you are not going to be able to have that on me to say your son left you.
Yeah.
You're not going to have it. So one day she said, I'm leaving, going to Iran. What do you want to do? I said, perfect. Well, you're leaving. She said, I am. No problem. You go. She left. I joined the army. Didn't tell her. I just went to the army. But who was I in high school? You know, I was with a guy named Gianni Russo 2 days ago in New York. Gianni Russo played the role of Carlo Rizzi in Godfather where he married Vito's daughter. So he's the guy that got into a fight with Sonny, and Sonny beat him up in the street, threw a baseball at him.
Okay.
This is the son. This is the brother-in-law that was beating up his sister, Sonny's sister. Anyways, so I'm sitting with Gianni Russo, and we're talking, and he's telling me about this whole upbringing. And one of the things we talked about is why people either become extremely driven or they use humor and comedy to lighten the load of life. If you meet anybody that's an entertainer, there's a dark pain they went through that no one knows about. There's something they went through, some private, some public, that no one knows about. Robin Williams, Steve Jobs, his mom gave him up for adoption. There's some things that no one knows about. Like it's a point, right?
Okay, yep.
So for me, I mean, I grew up in an environment where, gangsters like me, athletes were cool with me because I was a bodybuilder. I was the school people definitely didn't like me because I was a 1.8 GPA. I didn't pay attention much to school. But the teachers were entertained by my show I would put on. And, on another side, I was a unifier. When fights would break out, they would call me. Like
they call you to come fight.
You would probably call me. By the way, I was bullied as well. You have to realize I was bullied in junior high school, a lot in junior high school. So I was skinny. I was 6'1", 135. I was very skinny. But in high school, it changed. And then I was the guy that if you walked with me, like I had a friend of mine, his name was Adrian. We would walk and he would say, "Go, Pat." And I would say, "Man, you got a choice. 4 things. Richest man in the world. You're Michael Jackson. You're Michael Jordan. Or you're the best actor in the world. Which one would you take?" And we would go. You get $1,000 right now. What would you do? I would tell stories. I would, make scripts for movies and acting. I mean, it was all fascination. It was fantasies, dreams. It was all of that. But yeah, it was interesting.
So like you, from the sounds of it anyways, in school, you were the typical, I mean, when I hear about entrepreneurs, a lot of them were, I guess, really bad in school. Would you say you're kind of like that, but you're also very creative? Like, because you're saying like you would go to, like, you have the 4 things and you just kind of run with the idea. Because
I was I was extremely bored in school. Okay. The only teachers that caught my attention were teachers that knew how to entertain, and they were good storytellers. Like I can tell you, Mr. Woods got my attention because he knew how to deal with me, and he was a math teacher. I mean, I loved math. Mr. Panosian, my English teacher, he was just a cool cat. He was a guy that he taught English in a way that you just resonated with the guy. Like, I like this guy.
Sure. Yep.
Miss Sinclair believed in me, and that's the reason why I joined the Army. She was a major in the U.S. Army. I joined the Army because of my health and guidance teacher. He is the reason why I joined the Army. But it was, you had to entertain me. If you couldn't get my attention,
then you were just done.
No, I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So you went to the Army. How long were you in there for?
2.5 years.
2.5. So that's the one-time contract, then you're kind of out?
They had a delayed entry program. That's the one I joined. I went to the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault.
And then did you ever get deployed at all, or
no? Not during my time. Nothing was going on when I was in.
When were you in? What time was that?
97 or 99. So you're talking about the worst thing that happened. There was a crisis at Honduras, which was floods. And then it was Kosovo and Bosnia. Everything else was pretty... all the units had already been deployed where no one knew was being deployed for my unit. Okay,
got it. So you didn't do much in the military from the sounds of it, like for
not deployment. No deployment.
Yeah, but training wise, I'm assuming you did quite a bit of that.
Course.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything else they would put me in. When I was getting to re-enlist, I was getting ready to go to Vicenza, Special Forces. That's what I'm getting ready to do. And then my orders were given to my friend, and I got out of the Army.
Okay. So then, did the Army impact your approach, I guess, when it comes to entrepreneurship? Because, like, for example, a lot of people say that they wake up at 4:30 in the morning because that's what they did in the Army, and then they carry that over into being an entrepreneur. So, is there anything like that you can pick out that you took from the Army that you applied to your approach?
I wouldn't be who I am today without the military. I would not be who I am today without the military. That's 100%. Let me tell you, One of the best decisions I ever made is joining the Army. The best decisions I made. I give you from a different point of view. One, obviously, I learned a lot about discipline.
Yep.
But what Army taught me the most was I learned how to get along with people from all across the country. So I'm in the Army. I had to learn how to get along with people from South Dakota who have never met an Iranian before. Look at this. Look at these ears. This is Middle Eastern ears.
Yep.
They don't know a nose like this. This is a big nose. This is a Middle Eastern nose. These are fat eyebrows, right? These are big eyes. They don't recognize have eyes. So who is this Iranian guy? Why are you in Kentucky? And I had to figure out a way how to break the ice. And I would say, you want to know the truth? I'm a flipping spy. I'm spying on you. And they would say, did you know that David is a spy? And then everybody would know I'm pulling pranks. But I had to learn how to get along with people from New York, Chicago, Miami, all over.
The whole spy thing is interesting that you said that, just because like I have a friend, he's one of my best friends. He grew up in Canada, but his dad was in the Army, I believe, in the States. And so he got a dual citizenship, and now he's in the Marines right now. But he does the exact same thing. He tells people he's a spy just to kind of like break the ice a little bit.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Yeah, he does the exact same thing. Actually, I find that kind of funny. So a lot of the stuff you got taught in the military, obviously you apply to being an entrepreneur. Now, one thing I'm kind of... you didn't become an entrepreneur right out of the military, though, correct? Like, you went into the financial district, I believe.
Yeah, I went to Valley Total Fitness immediately, and then, but I was an entrepreneur on the side in the Army. I was selling vitamins, supplements. I was one of the biggest creatine salesmen of 14.
Nice.
It was a creatine drug dealer. I was running this. Yeah, I mean, I did that on the side, and you would come to my barracks, and you would open up my closet, supplements galore everywhere. When I got out, I worked at Bally's. I sold gym memberships, and then I started working at Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. And then I went to dabble into technology, selling 100-page websites. And then I went to Transamerica, and then I started my own insurance company.
And that's PHP, correct?
PHP Agency, yes.
Okay, so then what was the process of starting PHP and Valuetainment? Because, like, obviously, yes, you went through the financial district or whatever before you started PHP.
So one of the reasons why I left securities industry, because it was so overly regulated when it came down to marketing. Meaning, if I communicated with you, you're a client of mine, I can't do it on Facebook. I couldn't do it on YouTube. I couldn't do this. I couldn't make videos. I couldn't do... Everything is regulated by FINRA, SEC, everything. Okay. And so the company I was with, you can't do this, you can't. So my promotion was held up because I didn't befriend one of the compliance officers on Facebook. I said, I don't want to befriend you. She said, if you don't befriend me, you're not getting promoted. I said, I'm sorry. So I got my attorney on the line, and the attorney said, let me get this straight. You're saying if he doesn't befriend you, you won't promote him? Yes, I'm the compliance officer. And the attorney's like, Patrick, relax. I'm the attorney. Let me finish the call. I said, I will. Says, okay, thank you, ma'am. So if he does befriend you off the call, you're going to promote him. Yes. I befriended her after the call. They promoted me. I resigned 30 days later.
Nice.
And I started PHP. So when I started PHP, we grew it from one office, 66 insurance agents, to 9,600 insurance agents today. We are the fastest growing insurance agency in all of America.
Holy.
We are now about to pass up New York Life in the number of agents nationwide. They have 12,000. We have 9,600 agents nationwide. And we now have over 100 offices. One of my investors is Oscar De La Hoya, Gabriel Brenner, and another fund from New York. It's a $2 billion fund. Okay. And we've grown into what we are today. Valuetainment was purely accidental. I was making videos only internally for my sales team.
Oh, okay.
And one day we said, let's go public. And the YouTube channel was called Patrick Bet David. I said, I don't want to name it Patrick Bet David. Let's name it Valuetainment. We changed it to Valuetainment. And then we started getting specific about one word. I know a lot about business, entrepreneurship. I went after one word. And then it grew to 1.1 million subs, 1 billion minutes watched. So things change very quickly.
So I'm assuming there's a very, like, it's not just luck that your channel grew so big. Like, it's because I run my own digital agency, and there's a lot of strategy behind everything. And so I'm guessing for you, when you started Valuetainment, you put a strategy in place in order to grow to where you're at today, or was it just one video where you popped and then everyone started to come? Like, what exactly happened there?
Listen, there is a few things that draw audiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
One is a perfect butt, which I don't have.
Me neither.
One is boobs, which I don't have. One is a guy that is an absolutely hot-looking stud, blue eyes, green eyes, and he's got the flawless lips and is related to Brad Pitt. Okay, so check. I don't have boobs. I don't have the butt. That's gone.
Okay.
Next, the other one is you have a great voice. You can sing. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. He's amazing. This is amazing. The other one is humor. You know how to make people laugh.
Mm-hmm.
You say funny stuff. There's a lot of people on World Star that are blowing up because they make funny 60-second clips. And they're blowing up. 2 million followers, 6 million followers, 1 million followers. It's another way of doing it. And then now there's controversy. Did you know? Oh my gosh, did you know what's going on? Did you hear about this controversy? And then the hardest one is value. Very simple.
Okay, yep.
We don't wake up in the morning saying, I'd love to watch a valuable video today.
True. Yep.
People wake up in the morning saying, can I watch a cat video? Can I?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, look at her butt. Oh, look at her boobs are perfect. I don't even got a boob job. Look at this girl's lips. No lip job. That gets our attention.
Yeah.
Okay. So I chose the toughest one. So if I'm going value, if you're going to go this route, you have to know what you're talking about, because the audience is going to be able to tell throughout your BS. If you don't know what you're talking about, everyone's going to be able to tell it, period.
Yep.
So I said, okay, what do you know a lot about? And I went to an area that I know a lot about. And so the foundation was built on experience and value I bring to you. Then it was systems. System is, a person told me, says, Pat, I don't think it's a good idea to start a YouTube channel. Tell me why. Because the way you're going to run out of content. And when you run out of content, then what are you going to do? So now people keep asking us, how do you guys keep coming up with content?
That's my next question.
Coming up with new content. How do you keep So then you got to have a system on how to create content.
Mm-hmm.
But then, this takes a lot of effort. I'm running a company. If you see what I'm looking at on the other side, it's a bunch of employees and bunch of sales offices I got to go visit, investors, all the attorneys, 4 law firms. People don't see that side. I'm doing that. Yeah. And I build an internal studio. I have digital marketers. I have editors. I have designers. I have graphic designers. I have all these guys that are internal here as well.
Yeah.
So valuetainment became a side thing that I'm doing. My side hustle is valuetainment while I'm running my full-time business. So a lot of people that want to create content have to realize the foundation has to be value. If you have the foundation of value, everything else comes next. A lot of people say, well, Pat, what if somebody doesn't communicate that well? Well, go to Khan Academy. The guy who started Khan Academy is a regular dude. If you look at him, you're like, nothing about this guy is like, oh my gosh, he speaks like Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
No, but he's got a 4 million subscriber channel based on value. So it depends on what you're branding yourself around. Okay, let's go 5 more minutes because I got another guy waiting for me here. By the way, can I give you a compliment?
Sure, thank you.
You remind me of the guy who do people say you look like and talk like? Do they give you a name? I just want to make sure I'm not the first person saying this to you.
The only person that's ever told me something is, they told me I sound like Gary Vee a lot, and that's it.
No way.
Okay.
I would say, and by the way, not that no way in a bad way.
Yep.
No way. I say you sound like the guy who played Social Network. Who's the guy that played Social Network?
Eisenhower, I
don't know what his name is, but you talk like him, you look, he's like the genius, right? He's a, by the way, in real life, he's a genius. He played Mark Zuckerberg, but in real life, he's a genius. You look like him, you talk like him. Very interesting. I don't know what the cat's name is. Jesse Einsberg. Jesse Einsberg. That's you. If you go put up the picture next to him, once you're done with this, you'll see it.
I feel like I've got that one other time, but I can't recall when. But
I'm not the first. There you go.
Huh, thank you.
So if you had one last question to ask, what would it be?
Let's see here. What can I ask 2 very short ones?
Sure, yeah.
Who is the most interesting person you've interviewed?
Who is the most interesting person I've interviewed? It depends, like who I was curious by or who to me was weird. Let me put it to you this way. John McAfee is one of the weirdest people I've ever met. Okay.
Okay.
Very weird. I mean, I'm in his house interviewing with 5 guys next to me with AK-47s, and the guy's got a gun on his, literally when I'm interviewing McAfee's got a gun. In the middle of the interview, somebody knocks on the door. One of the ex-Navy SEAL guys jumps out with a gun at the door in the middle of the interview. My camera guy loses it. He almost passes out and he, craps in his pants.
No way.
So, yeah, that was a weird one. That's one. McAfee.
Okay.
Interesting people interviewed. I don't know, man. There's so many of them. One of the ones that I just did, if half of his stories are true, this is the most interesting man alive. This is Gianni Russo, who I was telling you about playing that guy. He used to run with Frank Costello. If you don't know who Frank Costello is, maybe you've heard of Meyer Lansky. Maybe you've heard of Bugsy. Okay. If you've heard of Bugsy, the guy who opened up Vegas, or maybe you've heard of Lucky Luciano. Have you heard of Lucky Luciano?
Sounds familiar.
You've not heard of these names? Okay. So it sounds like you really were going to a Christian church, and when your family kept you homeschooling, they made sure they kept all the mob movies away from you.
I pretty much grew up in a cult.
The Goodfellas, Casino, none of that stuff. I mean, there's this thing out there called porn that your parents probably away from you. So I don't know at this point what you're watching. Okay. Anyways, let me tell you what happens here. The guy I interviewed that's going to be coming out next few weeks, very interesting, the stories he was telling me about. Just all over, simply because, sometimes, like, if you want to know my life, if you're on the inside here, like Kai, who works with us, Kai's from Netherlands.
Okay.
Norway. I'm sorry. I said Netherlands because the 2 guys bought tickets. He's from Norway.
Okay.
So Kai sends messages to us for a year and a half. I want to work on the inside. I want to work on the inside. I want to work on the inside. Finally, we say yes, he's in. So he's been with us for a couple months. Okay. This is Kai right here. Show your face so he knows who you are. This is Kai.
Nice to meet you, man.
He knows more about what we're doing on the inside than somebody else who's watched all my content, because they see on the inside what happens.
Yeah.
Gianni Russo was the guy that was on the inside with Frank Costello, one of the most powerful mob bosses in the history of mankind.
Holy cow.
The stories he told me was unreal. I would say those 2 names.
Okay. Last question. You read a lot of books, but if you had to choose one, which one impacted you the most out of all of them?
So, at the top of my list is Laws of Success, but the one that impacted me the most was Hypomanic Edge. Because Hypomanic Edge talked about, was the first book I read where I realized my insanity and craziness and weird tendencies that have put me in boxes as having different symptoms. I am very normal with my craziness. Hypomanic Edge and First Rate Madness, those 2 books.
Those are on your list, correct?
They're dark books. Okay. They're dark books. But First Rate Madness and Hypomanic Edge is absolutely 2 crazy books you'll read. It's amazing you're saying this. One of the whole reasons why I put together the Vault Conference that's coming up May 1st through May 4th, right? One of the main reasons why I put this together is because a lot of times while I'm doing the interviews with people like you, you're asking me questions. And a lot of videos are made, people may not know this, by questions that people ask. So I said, let me just make another video.
Yeah.
So I don't need to answer the question. I simply give you a video, the question's answered, and give you the video, the question's answered. So eventually people said, why can't we do a live conference? Because we want to know about your systems. You see, a lot of people just hear the stuff on the outside.
Yep.
What really is going to help you create wealth is the systems I use.
Yep.
It's the systems you need. So the 3-day conference I'm holding in Dallas from May 1st to May 4th.
Yep.
This isn't one of those conferences you go to where 20 speakers get up and they're all selling their packages. We're not doing that.
Okay.
I'm speaking for 3 days, telling you every single thing about how I run systems, how I raise money, how I've raised millions of dollars, how you find influencers, how you get a Mark Cuban to want to sit down with you to interview with you while your YouTube channel only has 1,000 subs. How do you grow a YouTube channel from 0 to 1,000,001 and have 1 billion minutes watched? How to grow your business to being the dominant voice coming up in a marketplace as a Middle Eastern, so your color doesn't matter, ethnicity doesn't matter. How to grow during good and bad times. All of that madness is going to be put together and presented to everybody with a Vault manual at the Vault Conference from May 1st to May 4th. We already have people registered from 36 different countries. But if anybody wants to scale their business, that'd be the one conference that I wouldn't miss 2019's conference of Vault.
Dude, like I really appreciate you coming onto the show. And like everyone, like he was saying, he has the Vault conference coming up. If you want to learn the systems, obviously I would highly recommend going there. Go buy a ticket, go to the Vault conference, and also go follow him on social media at Patrick Bet David. Like on everything, correct?
Everything is Patrick Bet David, and the Vault conference is valuetainment.com.
Valuetainment.com. Everyone, I really hope this brought you some value. Again, he runs Valuetainment, so I really hope it did bring you value. And yeah, if you want to ask any questions, shoot me a DM at Jojo Murda on Instagram. And obviously, everyone, go follow all of his social media. He's a great guy. Thank you for coming on the show, man. And everyone,
thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
Take care.